Why Klaus Mikaelson from the Vampire Diaries deserves criticism, not hero worship ****. Klaus Mikaelson is often viewed as one of the most captivating characters in the Vampire Diaries, praised for his charm and seen by many as a misunderstood anti-hero or romantic figure. However, I believe fans have misinterpreted his morality, idealizing him for traits that should actually make us wary of glorifying him. Klaus' past is tragic, but it doesn't absolve him from the calculated violence and cruelty that defined his character. His actions, often excused as the product of a tormented childhood, reveal a complex and deeply flawed individual, not a tragic hero worthy of reverence. Klaus' tragic history doesn't excuse his actions. While it's true that Klaus faced immense trauma during his childhood, such as being born from an affair, the consequences of his parents' actions, and the abuse he suffered from his father, these hardships do not justify the sheer violence and manipulation he engaged in later in life. The argument that his brutal actions were shaped by his past ignores the fact that he consistently chose to embrace violence, power, and cruelty over growth or redemption. Klaus murdered innocent people, manipulated entire groups for his benefit, and controlled his family members through fear and violence. He didn't hesitate to sacrifice his loved ones, including his siblings, in order to gain the upper hand. His 1,000 years on Earth were marked by betrayal and a ruthless hunger for domination, not a search for healing or reconciliation. Even when he occasionally spared someone or acted with kindness, such moments felt like attempts to bolster his image or ensure self-preservation, not genuine acts of empathy or care. His character never made the effort to become better, unlike other characters in the Vampire Diaries, like Damon and Stefan, who eventually sought redemption. The family manipulations, not an act of love, but power. Klaus' family was often his greatest weapon. The bond between him and his siblings was built on manipulation, fear, and the constant cycle of harm that Klaus inflicted. The idea that Klaus truly cared about his family is hard to reconcile with his constant mistreatment of them. Klaus locked Finn in a coffin for centuries, tortured Rebecca emotionally, and repeatedly killed Cole. Even Elijah, the one sibling Klaus couldn't control, was often at the receiving end of Klaus' wrath. Any moments of family unity, such as his actions in freeing them from their coffins, came not out of love, but out of the necessity of self-preservation. Klaus wasn't interested in reuniting with his siblings for their sake. It was only when his life was at risk that he allowed them freedom. The fact that Klaus' manipulation of family was so extreme should be enough to dismantle the romantic hero narrative. His actions went far beyond the sins of an anti-hero or villain. He was selfish, egotistical, and actively damaged the ones he should have loved and protected. The toxicity of Klaus and Caroline's relationship. Another aspect that often leads fans to sympathize with Klaus is his romance with Caroline Forbes. Their chemistry is undeniable, but this relationship began under a cloud of toxicity. Klaus ordered Tyler to bite Caroline, fully intending to use her as a pawn for his gain. Klaus only steps in to save Caroline when things turn in his favor, offering her blood as a cure and attempting to present himself as a hero. This sets a problematic foundation for their relationship. Klaus' first act of kindness was motivated by manipulation, rather than genuine compassion. Though Klaus did treat Caroline better than others in some instances, it doesn't erase the fact that he didn't truly care for her at first. He viewed her as another prize in his ongoing efforts for control. The beginning of their romance wasn't based on honesty or mutual respect. It was born from a moment of personal gain masquerading as care. Klaus' relationship with Caroline demonstrates a classic case of toxic power dynamics disguised as romance, and this should be critically acknowledged rather than romanticized. Klaus' legacy. A villain, not a hero. Klaus is an undeniably magnetic character, but it's essential to separate his charm from the true nature of his actions. A tragic backstory doesn't excuse cruelty. Acts of kindness don't outweigh the larger picture of selfishness and manipulation. Klaus' history doesn't give him a free pass for murder or emotional abuse. He's not the misunderstood bad boy he's often made out to be. He's an individual who chose darkness, continually seeking power while ignoring any true sense of morality or empathy. In the end, Klaus is not a romantic hero or anti-hero deserving of adulation. His actions should be condemned, and the narrative of him as a tragic, misunderstood figure is problematic. Instead of elevating him to hero status, we should recognize the toxic patterns in his behavior and understand that true redemption isn't achieved through charm or the occasional act of mercy, but through sustained effort to change one's ways. Klaus' legacy should not be that of a misunderstood soul or heroic figure, but as a cautionary tale of power unchecked and of what happens when one refuses to be accountable for the damage they've done.